It's Edward Cabrera season. Is Eddie Cabrera going to give the shot in the arm to the Marlins that they so desperately need after dropping game one in Coors? We're going to dig into that and tons more with Alex Contreras on today's Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Marlins, your daily Marlins podcast with me, Peter Pratt. Of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to the podcast, to the YouTube channel. And also don't forget to follow me on Twitter at MiamiMarlins_UK. Welcome to the Tuesday edition. And I'm delighted to welcome in the stud, the king, the spice master. Alex Contreras is in the house. How we doing, brother?
Doing great, Peter. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here on Locked On Marlins to talk about Eddie Cabrera on this beautiful Taco Tuesday.
Absolutely. Tacos away for sure. Eddie Cabrera, it's not been officially announced, right? But all indications are Edward Cabrera makes his major league debut in 22. Not sure what the corresponding move will be either, a few different directions, but just overall, it's time for Eddie Cabrera to be up for this Marlins team in 22, right?
It's about time. It's really about time to see Eddie Cabrera come up here. And let me tell you, the last time we saw him make his major league debut with this team, he was all right. He what he is, but he went back down to the minors. He worked on his craft, and this guy has been a strikeout machine, a stud. You know what I'm saying, Pete?
Yes,
He's
sir.
out there. I was looking at some of his highlights on MILB.com. If you haven't done so, go check them out. Go check out the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp and see the highlights, not only on Ed Cabrera, Max Meyer, JJ Bleday, all those studs down there. But today's about Eddie Cabrera, man, and he's been dealing. I'm talking about he's been using that fastball, that changeup, that slider. This guy's got a 94-mile-an-hour changeup. When's the last time you heard that? Sandy Alcantara, right?
Sandy, baby.
Eddie's been tearing it up, man, in the minors. He had 11 Ks, 12 Ks multiple times. You know, this is a guy that's looking at his minor league career. He's had over 400 strikeouts, right? 400 strikeouts. And he's just walked, let's see, I got it written down right over here somewhere. 400 Ks as opposed to 131 walks. And he's only hit 26 guys. So that's pretty good, pretty damn good control, if you ask me. The guy's electric. Like we said, his changeup's 94. He's got that slider, that fastball, 97 miles an hour. I mean, he's getting the thing that really stood out to me, just looking at his stuff, is that he's been getting ahead of hitters. He's been attacking the strike zone. And when he has those 0-2 counts, he's not playing around. He's going right at the guys. He's throwing that dirty changeup, that slider, or he's going to throw that heat at you. I saw some guy, he threw him a fastball, and it was like a self-defense type of swing. He was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So that's the type of stuff that we need. I got a feeling that this guy's going to come into the clubhouse, and he's going to inject a lot of positive energy. A whole different culture is coming into this clubhouse. And I think this is exactly what the Marlins need. They need a shot. They need a colada. They need something, baby. Platano power time.
Absolutely. I think when we look back to 21 with Eddie Cabrera, the thing that stood out to me, too many walks. The command just wasn't quite there. What you've said, though, there, this season in 22, he is in attack mode. Clearly, I think the Marlins said to him, listen, we need you in full attack mode. Let's get ahead in the count and let's put guys away with your elite, off-speed pitches. It's a recipe for success. We've seen it with Sandy. We've seen it with loads of the other guys for the Marlins. For Eddie Cabrera now, health, if health is okay for the rest of the way out, he's got to be in this rotation, every fifth day now, right? There is no kind of up and down for Eddie. He should be here to stay now, I think.
I think that's a little bit what the logic tells us, right? I mean, you and I, we got the logic of baseball, but this front office is showing us to do the opposite sometimes. Sometimes they're Contreras, they go the opposite route. But
oh boy.
hopefully that we can keep Cabrera up here, and hopefully he does work. Hopefully he comes in and does some damage. And trust me, this team can get as much help as it can right now. Like, they need as much help as possible.
They absolutely do. We don't know the corresponding move. The guys that I think are in scope here to kind of for the roster shakeup, you've got clearly Joey Wendell exited the game yesterday with a hamstring issue. For me, that is a nailed on situation. He's going on the IL. Brian Anderson's got some back issues. You've got Eliezer Hernandez still serving meatballs in IKEA's cafeteria. So There's a few different ways to go with this one. I know you've got these offensive guys dealing with some problems, and Asadio is still on the roster too. But for me, I'd like to see Eliezer go down to AAA at this point and just kind of, work on something down there. Just take a blow. I don't know what it is, but where's your head at with Lilo? Because I know you're a big fan of Lilo too.
Yeah, man, I'm a big diehard Lilo fan. There was a couple seasons ago, he was going toe-to-toe with Pablito. He was one of the best pitchers in the rotation. So it's kind of sad to see him serve up so many meatballs, but at this point, I can't even defend him. It's hard, and maybe he does a lot better coming out of the bullpen. I wouldn't know what to tell you. I don't know what the Marlins are going to do with him. But right now, we're not in a position to really trade anybody because Max Meyer's hurt. We're going to see what Eddie's going to give us. Luzardo's hurt. I miss Luzardo. It's a shame that Wendell's going down right now once again with the injury. Like you said, BA's hurt. But, man, these guys need to make some moves. We got to try to win ball games however possible. And no disrespect to La Tortuga, but his swing is very, very turtle-like, very slow. I like that he has a cool attitude and everything, but Jesus, man, you got to work on that strike zone. Like the other day, JP Arencibia was talking about that if you look at La Tortuga's swing, like he starts like with the bat halfway in the zone, and then he pulls it up and he's trying to get some momentum. If that's getting momentum, my man, I don't know. Like I'd rather him do the Gary Sheffield, and maybe it'll be a little bit better. But I don't want to bash on the guys. I know that they're trying to do the best that they can. But yeah, man, let me hit you with a real random little stat. Did you know that Edward Cabrera, when he was down in Jupiter, he made one start out in Jupiter? This wasn't this year, but this was in 2019. He set a club record. He tied a club record with the Jupiter Hammerheads for 13 strikeouts. How about that? So if that tells you anything, this guy's a strikeout artist, man. I'm not saying he's going to come in here and punch out 10 guys, and if he does, he's an absolute stud. Because Colorado's the Mile High City, and it affects your curveballs and your breaking balls and all that. Yeah. But we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. What's your take on it? What are you most excited to see about Eddie?
Do you know what? I thought about it last week. The fact that the Marlins have really not done Eddie Cabrera any favors here whatsoever. Like, if we think about putting the right guys in the right spots to succeed, first major league start of 22 on the road in Coors, like they are really not putting him in a good spot to come out there and throw 10 Ks. It's a tough spot for Eddie. So what does good look like today for me for Eddie? I think at least a 5-inning outing, limit the bombs, limit the damage, couple of earned runs, I think is still a success because you got to take into account it's Coors. It's massive out there. We saw it yesterday. There was, Cooper Loop with a stand-up triple for Coop. I mean, that just shows how wild it is. It wasn't big enough, though, I must say, for Jesus Sanchez, the almost 500-foot dong that almost landed in my back garden here in Leeds. That's how far it traveled. It was stunning, mate. But yeah, I'm pumped for Eddie. As a fan base, we've slept on Eddie. We're sleeping on him. We forget how much hype there was. It wasn't amazing in 21, but he was pitching to how he was told to pitch. I felt like they were instructing him, getting him there, working on things. They weren't trying to win games in August and September 2021. They weren't. And so they were kind of saying to Eddie, listen, we want you to work on this in game. And I think now it's full go for Eddie in 22. It's a tough starting spot for him. I think he's here for the rest of the year. And I think we'll look back and go, wow, where was Eddie Cabrera at the start of the year? I think it was, clearly he started late, but I'm pumped for Eddie Cabrera, mate. Absolutely pumped. And I saw you were too. This is why I thought I need Alex on this pod. We need to get into some hype for Eddie Cabrera. But what do you make of this, make it, the first start in Coors, if it is to be today, because nothing is officially confirmed, but I think we all know, but it is a tough spot for him to go first, right?
I mean, it's looking at his career, he's 0-3. He hasn't won a game yet in the major leagues. So this would be a great time to see Eddie Cabrera go out, pitch 5-6 quality innings, keep the team in it, see Jesus Aguilar hit his 100th career home run, celebrate the Arepa power. We're on the milestone watch, 99 home runs for the Venezuelan. And I feel like they're going to go out there and going to do everything possible to back up this young stud. They want to tell him, hey, you're up here. Here's the ball. Go get him, champ. And let's go get this W too. And that's exactly what these Marlins are going to need. And I can't wait to hear Flip That M, baby. And cue Severino. It's a Marlins win.
That's it. Get it queued up, Sevy, no doubt. There's a follow-up question or two that is perfect for me to get into. But before we get there, reminder, guys, this episode is brought to you by our partners at Bet Online, the continued number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs. Oh, pain for the Heat. Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information from live betting, playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Oh, Alex, I'm going to have to go back to yesterday's game because you said about, the team doing it for their man for the starter. Pablito was absolutely stunning. 6 innings, grinded it. A ground out 6 innings in Coors, no earned runs. The offense could only muster 1, and it was an absolute bomb by Jesus, as we talked about. And then the bullpen came in, and it was not good. Not good is probably an understatement. I just still sitting here now. What am I? Almost 20 hours, 22 hours since the events. I still don't understand why Cole Sulser came out in the 7th inning. What? I don't have a clue. Kelly Sago tried to ask Don Mattingly the question directly post-game. Don swerved it and said, I want to talk about Pablo. Didn't answer why Cole Sulser came out in the 7th. Why was Cole Sulser in the
7th? Way to dodge a wrench there, Donnie. Jesus. He that's the experience. That's what that was. That was the experience in the room. He saw, all right, Kelly's the only one here that really knows me. But I really don't know, man. They're going to hit us with the classical closer by committee. We're going with analytics. No disrespect to Cole Sulser. Cole Sulser's done his thing with us on this team. But I don't know, man. I feel like we had so many other options. What happened to Mariano Rivera, a.k.a. Anthony Bass in the 7th,
Exactly.
The Bass man, to give him some credit, he's been able to turn it around a little bit after he was a meatball show. He was with IKEA part-time with Eliezer. So it's good. I don't know. I feel like I love this team, and I feel like you and I and so many fans and reporters and anybody that watches this team is so critical of them because you're critical of the things that you love, right? If your kid comes in here right now, Pete, and interrupts the podcast, you're going to be upset at him, right? But you're still going to love him, right?
Absolutely.
So, you want to see the good. You want to call them out in the bad because you love this team. I love them. I've been here for 26 years. The last I can remember, the first game I ever went to was 26 years ago. I'm not going to G and say, I remember 93. Nobody remembers 93. I was 3 years old. But I can definitely remember 96, watching Gary Sheffield, and 97. I'll never forget when they won the World Series, jumping for joy. I just feel like at some point, somebody needs to be held responsible for what's going on. The manager, everybody's saying that baseball's changed. It's a different sport because analytics, this and that. That's all cool, and I can respect that. But I don't necessarily have to share it. Back in my day, the manager's the guy that's supposed to go into the clubhouse, spark a fire under everybody's ass, get them going. We heard Craig Mish tweet this the other day and said, hey, if there's ever a time to have a closed doors meeting, it's today. And that was yesterday. And what the Marlins are 19 and 26, 19 and 27. How many games is that? I don't know. I'm terrible at math. But what I'm trying to get at is, have you heard anything about a closed doors meeting at all this year? When's the last time this team had a closed doors meeting? So I don't know, man. I feel like just walking zombies out there sometimes. And a lot of the times, the Marlins don't score unless they're already down. Yeah, it's nice to see him get a 1-0 lead thanks to Jorge Soler. Hip hip, Jorge! Jorge's starting to freaking turn that corner. He's starting to show his money's worth. Could his average be better? Yes, but he's showing off that power, that colada power. He's making the Cuban community proud. He's made a couple of defensive web gems, throwing guys out and everything. But sometimes we get too involved with the analytics. How is it that we got our left fielder, whether it's Soler or it's De La Cruz or whoever's out there, and you don't have them playing left field straight up. You got them playing shading more towards center field, and then it's all of a sudden you got this gap from where the shortstop is all the way to third base in the outfield completely empty. So that's not going to work unless you have 4 outfielders. And the last I looked, there's only 9 players that can be on the field at the time. So, it's head scratching at times. And why are we upset? We're upset because we care. I want to see them get somebody to come over and call them out. Like something has to happen because we're just there like mailing it in. How is it possible? Pablo went 6 innings, no runs, Colorado, and you really thought we were going to hold it? Nobody in their mind knew nobody would bet that the Marlins were going to hold that lead. And look what happened. They scored 7 runs, and now it's just like comical. I feel like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Cue the music.
Oh boy, it was pain, no doubt. But listen, the follow-up question I want to get into now is, you've called it out. We've already talked about Donnie swerved the question on Cole Sulser in the 7th. Is it time? There's been a lot of discourse on Twitter around Don Mattingly. I mean, Loud Marlins fan has been pumping it all year. Hashtag, I think, fire Don Mattingly. But getting to the point now, the season's getting away from ourselves. We're throwing Eliezer out there every 5th day. The same result is happening. The offense is just not being good. It just full stop. It hasn't. It's probably regressed actually since last year. I don't know, but it's just not been good. Is it time for Don Mattingly? I don't want to put it out there right now. I'm not on the fire Don Mattingly. I'm not in that fire Don Mattingly camp. I'm not, but I'm interested to get other opinions. For me, I'm happy for him to ride it out this year. I think the Marlins this year is cooked anyway, and I'm happy just to let it ride out. But where are you sitting on this one? Is your mind still in it? You think the Marlins are still in it this year, and thus fire Don, Rowsome takes over, and they ride it to the playoffs?
Man, I hate that you put me in this position, man, but it's getting super hard to defend Don Mattingly.
Yeah,
I've gotten into debates on Twitter with people. Aram, who used to host Locked On Marlins, I talked to him yesterday, and we were a little bit back and forth. He was saying, at this point, what do you expect, Marlins Nation? You want Don Mattingly to pencil himself in and bat in the cleanup spot? Yeah. And somebody replied, he'd do a lot better than Avi Garcia. And I can't blame him. But look,
true, by the way, true.
Don Mattingly is the winningest manager in Marlins history. That being said, yeah, I want a lot more. I want him to go out there and show fight for his team. I want him to be more emotional. Go out there and get ejected. So what if you get fined? You're telling me you don't have the money? And it's not even a money thing. It's just about showing your guys. He always says, oh, I'm a player first manager, and I always back up my guys. Man, it gets to a point where we need to think about, what do we do to get a spark under this team's ass? We got to push them, and we got to get the best out of them. That's why I wore this ring today. This is the 2003 World Series championship ring.
There you go.
All right. And what happened in 2003? We got rid of Torborg, right? Late May, June, and we brought in Jack McKeon. I'm not saying that the Marlins are going to, if they fire Mattingly, that they bring somebody else in and we're going to win a World Series. I'm not saying that. If it happens, fantastic. We'll all rejoice and be happy and throw parties. But the thing is, man, if something's not working, you got to fix it. I feel like this is just a vicious cycle that, we're not winning. We say we want to win, and then we start spiraling downwards, and it's terrible. Like, people are voicing their opinion because they care. They're tired of the losing. We've had 2 championships to our name. That's great and everything, but we're going on 30 years now, man. And the only thing that people really recall about the Marlins is, they got more color changes in the rainbow. So come on, man. Like, seriously, like they were discussing with me. They were like, hey, nobody knows who's going to be a position, like who's in position to replace Don Mattingly, right? If you want to go internally, you can do that with James Rawson. Why do we go and get him from Minnesota? Because he was having success in Minnesota as a hitting coach, as a bench coach. And the guys set at the time, they set a home run record. Right, the Minnesota Twins, they had like 300 home runs. Were we expecting that at Marlins Park? Hell no. That didn't even happen with Barry Bonds as the hitting coach. But why did we go get him? Because maybe you told this guy, hey, the opportunity for you to be a manager is going to come. Mm-hmm. I tweeted out yesterday, obviously hot in the moment, got frustrated after seeing the team lose 7-1. You got to do your homework. I'm not part of the front office or anything, but I sent out 14 potential candidates that they can review, and you can call up anybody else in the major leagues and tell them, hey, let me talk to your bench coach. Some teams might tell you no. A team might tell you yes. It wouldn't be the first time in this club, in this franchise history that we trade for another manager. They did it with Ozzie Guillen before 2012, before we opened the new stadium. We called Chicago up and said, hey, what do you want for Ozzie? We sent somebody over. I don't even know who it was. But you're telling me we can't negotiate something like that? We could definitely make something like that. There's a lot of intriguing names out there. We can start off with like a popular name and a Carlos Beltran who's currently unemployed. We can go down. We can go. The Chicago White Sox have a great bench coach and Miguel Cairo. You have a Brad Osmus who's a bench coach out and with the Athletics. Let's see. Who else did I tweet out? Mr. Jeff Conine. It'd probably be a lot to pry him away from FIU, but FIU's cool and everything. Yeah, and he's helping out the future baseball players of the world. But wouldn't it be nice to have a Jeff Conine here? Maybe we don't have to necessarily go that route and go get a Jeff Conine and an ex-Marlin. Maybe we want to have a reunion again with a Freddie Gonzalez. Why are you talking to the Braves? Hey, can I talk to Ron Washington? I don't know, man. There's options out there. You know what I'm saying? So don't tell me that, who's going to come in here and replace him, because there's 30 Major League Baseball clubs and everybody has a bench coach who's essentially going to be that replacement manager. Mm-hmm. All it takes is a phone call. Hey, is this guy available? Yes. Is this guy available? No. Why don't we know how to use the phone? What are we so scared of? I don't know, man. I don't want to upset anybody, but I'm just saying, don't hit me with there's no options out there, because there's a long list of things. And if you want to go the amateur route, hit up Alex Contreras, man. I'll be the young Jack McKeon, baby.
Baby.
I'll go out there. I'll toss my hat. And these umpires, don't get me started on the umpires. These umpires are unbelievable. Did you see what they did to Zach Gallen the other day?
I saw charging the mound, wasn't he?
Yeah. Charging the mound. I wish they would have opened up his mic. I would have loved to hear that. That would have been hilarious. Like, I'm always constantly saying and promoting that I want my manager to have fire, to back up my guys, be vocal, go out there. If it's a BS call, like I couldn't understand you saying post game to the media, yeah, we got screwed over. Yeah, we disagree with the call. Go out there, show that you care, blow a lid off. Like the only time I can really recall Don Mattingly really going off on somebody last time was during the 2020 season, during the COVID. He put the mask up. We couldn't hear what he was saying, but it's like, come on, man. You're telling me, I don't know, man. I just need more fire. Maybe he needs to have a colada or something. Inject something into my veins. Show me some life, man, because we're on life support right now. And it's a damn shame the Mets are in first place.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's at the heart of it for the Marlins fans in general, right? It's just the team is like the term I've heard used regularly now is sleepwalking. They're sleepwalking to another shitty season, and you just want to see some fire from somewhere. Like, everyone just is drawn to Jazz because he's playing with passion and fire, and Jesus Sanchez to a degree too. Like when Jesus was on, started the year and he was, everyone was loving it, but too many of the guys just look, under, and nothing from Donnie, no spark from Donnie. So I can understand where people are coming from for sure.
It's like, Donnie, how do you feel this? Yeah. Everything's, he was good, this and that, but that's it. It's just a flat line.
He's a baseline, isn't he? He's a flat line. He doesn't get his emotions too hot, too cold.
I need a you know what I mean? Like Brian Snitker. I don't like Brian Snitker at all. Everybody here knows I dislike the Atlanta Braves. Shout out to y'all haters. Are y'all gonna win the championship again this year? No. But Snitker goes out there and he backs up his players, like he does for Ronald Acuna. When Ronald Acuna gets hit, he's the first guy out there. He's out, you good, Ronald? He's out there cussing out the umpire. He's cussing out the other manager. Maybe they go out and hit a retaliation pitch. Forte's a man because he got hit in the head and got right back up like nothing happened. Scratch it up like, ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. Maybe it's a little catcher in him. But I don't know, man. When Jazz got hurt a couple of homestands ago, what was it? He was running towards first. And like he went all out. Nobody came out of that Marlins clubhouse. Nobody came out of that dugout. You think Donnie would be like, hey, are you okay? You know what I'm saying? The first base coach was the only one that was kind of like, yo, Jazz, are you good? Because he's at first base. But I didn't see a trainer run out there or any of that. And like, how are we doing this to our star player? To any player on the club whatsoever. Like, I expect the same thing if it's Nick Fortes. You go out there, hey, yo, you're good. But you got to check up on your guys. I don't know, man. You're preaching that you're a players guy, but I'm not really seeing you out there. And normally, it feels good to be here on Locked On Marlins and share a beer with my man Peter Pratt, because honestly, I haven't had a beer this past week because it's been too tough. The Marlins has driven me away from drinking because I've been getting too upset. I'm like, maybe the liquor's making me more depressed. So I swapped it up from IPAs. My first beer right here. I'm having a Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer.
There you go. He's a changed man for sure. Well, I must say it's been great to have you back on. We are running exactly the time today, which is the first time in a long, long time, no doubt. Highlights really from this one. Eddie Cabrera makes his debut in 22. I think it's going to be exciting for Marlins fans. I think us as a fan base need a boost. The team, the clubhouse needs a boost. I'm intrigued to see the way things go with Don Mattingly. I can understand the momentum behind the kind of fire Don Mattingly piece. I'm not convinced they go down that path right now. We'll wait and see on that one. Derek Jeter is now on Twitter as well. I'm going to be working very, very hard to get Derek Jeter onto this podcast to come and give me a blow-by-blow account of what went wrong with him and the Marlins organization. We'll wait and see if he is listening. The invitation and the DMs are open. Alex Contreras, that is us done for today. Remind everyone that isn't watching the show, because they have the graphics to help them, but anyone listening on the podcast form, and it's available wherever you get your pods, of course. Where can everyone get you on Twitter, brother?
Hey, follow me at The Real Akon, baby. At The Real Akon on Twitter. That's where you can get at me. Slide into my DM, talk some smack. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys, Marlins Nation, Marlins Twitter. Let's keep pushing forward. And let's cue Eddie's music today, baby. It's electric.
There we go. Hit the fade out button. All right, guys, that is us done for Tuesday's episode of Locked On Marlins. Peter Pratt and my stunning guest, Alex Contreras, signing out. Sit back, relax, enjoy Game 2 in Coors. Edward Cabrera making his debut. And we're back tomorrow, pre-UK friendly Wednesday, which should be fun. Seeing how the Marlins, if they can actually snatch this series, or if they're looking to avoid a sweep. Hopefully it isn't the latter of them. In the meantime, guys, enjoy this episode. Back tomorrow.